Why are my joints hurting? The hidden impact of hormones on midlife muscles and joints, everybody. Okay, hello friends. Welcome back to Menopause Made Easy with Tanya, where we take the mystery and madness out of midlife so you can feel strong, empowered, and in control of your health. Okay, my name is Tanya. For those that are new, thank you for joining me. I love having you here. And for my seasoned listeners, thank you for coming back. It feels wonderful to have you in my community. So, today we're going to talk about something that affects so many women, and it affected me, and I didn't even realize it in our 40s and 50s. And not a lot of people are talking about it. And the medical community has actually just put a title to it so that when you go to your doctor, you can actually say that you have this specific thing, and it really helps them to understand. So this is why I want to talk about it today. So I know a lot of times in menopause, we just talk about the hot flashes or mood swings, but it's joint pain. Okay, we're going to talk about joint pain today. And perhaps your shoulder didn't move. I have talked about a couple of episodes where I had frozen shoulder and I didn't really know. I'm going to talk more about that as we unfold in today's episode. But your hip may be aching when you try to get out in bed, and it's this raw, achy mine's in the right joint, and some of the clients I talk to is their right joint hip, and it's not a sharp stabbing pain, it's a achy feeling, and it's really annoying. I thought I had bone cancer, so I went to my doctor and I'm like, what is going on? Like my shoulder, my hip, it's hurting me. Okay, and that stiffness, the stiffness that makes you feel like you're 85 when you're only 45 or whatever age you are listening to this, right? So that's the stuff I want to talk about today. And it's not just about getting older, everybody. It's not just about getting older. There are so many shifts happening in our body with our hormones going all over the place and just uneducation. It's changing, so I'm very happy about that, but just uneducated system for women's health. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about my personal story, but back in my mid 40s, I developed frozen shoulder. Like if you're watching me on a video, I could not put on my jacket. I could not lift my arm. I could not, which way is my camera going here? I could not twist it this way. I could not do any of it. I went to osteo. I went and had like scans done, and my hip was at the same time doing all this stuff, but I'm going to just focus on my shoulder for a moment here. And it was debilitating. It was sharp pain, lack of movement. I've had this with some of my clients, and I was not on hormones at the time. Okay, not even mentioned that this could be related to menopause. And if you've ever had it, it's no joke. Like it is painful, and your range of motion is like absolutely limited. Like I said, I couldn't lift my arm, I couldn't reach behind my back. Okay, I couldn't put my jacket on. And this went on for about a year. I went for x-rays, like I said. I saw a couple of specialists. I did exercises. No one ever mentioned that it might be because I'm in perimenopause. So I'm like, okay. No one said, hey, you know that estrogen has a huge impact on your joints and your connective tissue. Never heard that, right? No, it was treated like a mystery, a mechanical issue, just a fluke, something we see in women this age. And guess what? Around this time, like I said, I started to develop that deep nagging pain in my right hip. And, I've been a personal trainer for years and years and years, working out and listening to some exercise specialists. We tend to move one side of our body more. So maybe I thought, maybe this side, because I'm right-handed, because it didn't affect my left at all, nothing. So maybe there is some mechanical issues in there, overuse injuries, but this just felt different. Okay, so this may be your experience. It may not. Maybe you have both knees that are achy, both elbows. I'm noticing a tightening in my hands a little bit that I didn't have a few years ago. Now, as you've listened, I have started estrogen and progesterone, and I'm just at the beginning of my adventure. So I go for another appointment in about a month. So we'll unwind and just see, do I need to change? Do I need to up? Where am I? I don't know. So this is about taking care of yourself though, okay? So what I now understand, what was really going on, and that's what I'm going to share with you today, is that it's not random, that it could be your hormones. And if you are a woman 40 and above, you may have noticed more stiffness, slower recovery, random aches, unexpected joints, pain, injuries, and it might not just be your age, okay? Now, I will say, if you're not moving your body and you're not eating a healthy diet, those two things will have a definite impact, but so do your hormones, okay? So this syndrome that they have quoted is called the Musculoskeletal Syndrome of Menopause. Okay, so what is the Musculoskeletal Syndrome of Menopause? So that's muscle and bones, muscle and your skeleton, okay? And they have a name for it, which is really great because not only does it make it sound a little official, but honestly, it's about time that women actually started getting recognized because as Dr. Stacy Sims says, we're not little men, okay? And most of the research, I mean, pretty much all of it has been done on men because they're not that complicated. Women are very complicated with their hormones changing, so we tend to be not looked at in research, but this is changing. So, oh, hallelujah, right? So more than 70% of midlife women report musculoskeletal symptoms. So I'm talking about joint pain, tendon issues, loss of muscle, cartilage wear and tear, even bone loss. And in 25% of women, it gets so bad it actually interferes with their daily life. So this is not just about aging. Okay, it's about estrogen. So we're going to break this down. Now, whether you decide to look into estrogen and your hormones is totally your call, but maybe you've been having these symptoms and they're not getting better. You've really cleaned up your diet, you cleaned up your exercise. It's helped a little bit, but it hasn't helped as much as you wanted it to. This could be something for you to explore today. So we're going to talk about estrogen's role in your bone, muscle, and joint health. Okay, I'm going to go over a few points here to really drive home. And a few episodes back too, I talked about Estrogen Matters, a great book. I did a book review on there, and I cannot tell you how detrimental the 2001, oh my gosh, I just had a brain fart. Oh my goodness, Women's Health Initiative study ruined 2 decades of women by a lot of doctors not being trained or pulling women off or women asking to be off, not understanding the role of estrogen. I've done other podcasts on this, but the results were not as they were. They were interpreted differently. So go listen to that episode or read that book, Estrogen Matters, but I'm going to talk a little bit about estrogen right now. So estrogen keeps your bones strong, okay? Estrogen helps maintain a healthy cycle of bone breakdown and rebuilding. And when estrogen drops after menopause, bone reabsorption or the breakdown, okay, speeds up. So the breakdown of our bones is speeding up. And that's why we're getting more cases of osteopenia. And then if we don't deal with that, it goes into osteoporosis. Okay, so have you had a bone scan? Do you know the health of your bones? Are you lifting weights? Are you strengthening your bones? Okay, and did you know that after menopause, I've said this before on many episodes, but more women suffer osteoporotic fractures than those who have heart attacks, strokes, and breast cancer. Like this is huge. And the unfortunate thing is we can't see our bones. So we tend not to really pay attention to them. And this is why I implore you to lift some weights. Okay, so hip fractures in particular, these can be absolutely life-altering and even deadly. But there is good news, okay, that hormone therapy can reduce fracture risk by up to 37%. If you listen to Dr. Gabrielle Lyon, I believe I got this study from her. So she's a great force to be reckoned with, powerhouse, really trying to teach women to build muscle. I'm going to do a book review on her book coming up called Forever Strong. All right, so really important that estrogen keeps your bones strong. Okay, so estrogen also preserves your muscle mass. So have you heard of sarcopenia? Because I've talked about it on here before. Your muscles are disappearing, okay? And then another reason why you need to lift weights. So the muscle loss that comes with age. Okay, but let's just play this out for a minute here. For women, a lot of this is tied to estrogen withdrawal, right? Because we do not have the estrogen that we used to have. And after menopause, we lose about 0.6%, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it builds up, okay, of muscle mass every year. And when you have estrogen, estrogen helps muscle cells regenerate. And it supports satellite cells, the little guys that repair muscle. Okay. It also protects muscle fibers from damage. And when estrogen's gone, you recover slower, fatigue sets in faster, and your strength suffers. But, and this is a big, big but, studies show that hormones can help preserve muscle mass and even improve strength in postmenopausal women, especially if you start early. So for all of you that are perimenopausal listening to this, okay, I would go and start asking about this or really being aware of what's going on in your body. It took me a few years, I'll be honest with you, a few years to get my head around it. And again, nobody was talking about this like they are now, okay? Nobody. And I started it about 4 months before I was postmenopausal, okay? So I know that in hindsight, I probably would have started in my earlier 40s, mid 40s. But again, none of this was talked about. None of these threads, as I talk about, were coming together. Now we know, when we know better, we do better. Okay, so estrogen also protects your joints, your tendons, and your cartilage. Okay, so estrogen is anti-inflammatory and it helps regulate collagen, which is what keeps your joints, your ligaments, and your tendons strong and supple, right? And so when estrogen levels are dropping, inflammation increases and collagen production drops. And this is a perfect storm for joint pain, frozen shoulder, tendon injuries, and arthritis. Right? So I hear so many women that are talking about this and they're not looking into hormones at all. Again, I'm just giving you some information, some education. You do what you want with it. But you can see how important estrogen is. And again, I have mentioned this in other episodes where women are healthier than men. And then when we hit menopause and our hormones disappear, we become 30% more likely to get heart disease, cancer, all of these things. So we're not equal anymore. And as a woman, I would like all my women friends to be with me and for women to rise up. And we need to be strong to rise up and vibrant and energetic. So let's lift weights. Let's get some inflammation out of our diets. Let's move our bodies and let's check out our hormones. Okay. So one study even found that women not using hormone therapy were twice as likely to develop frozen shoulder. Twice. Okay. So that hits home for me because no one told me back then to look at my hormones when I couldn't lift my arm. So this is a message. If you are having problems with that shoulder, okay, then maybe it's time for you to chat with your doctor or naturopath or whoever. I use a clinic in Oshawa. You can comment below and I'll send you the information. Okay, so what can you do? You know what? We can do so much. All right. So I'm going to share with you 3 action steps that you can take. You know why these things are happening because you're losing estrogen in your body, but what can you do about it? So I've said this, I've done a gazillion episodes on this, but resistance training, lift the weights. Okay. And this isn't about becoming a bodybuilder. It's not about becoming jacked up. It's about preserving your muscle mass. It's about strengthening your bones. It's about keeping your joints stable. So you want to aim for about 2 to 3 sessions a week. And if you're new to it, you start small and you build up. I just did my first. It was so much fun today. So I'm taping this on April the 8th. You're not going to hear this till May. But we did our first age strong and mobile class in my Move Your Body studio. And we had fun. We were learning how one of the really basic things we should be able to do is 11 full push-ups. And we videotaped ourselves doing them. We strengthened our chest, we strengthened our core, we strengthened our arms, and we're going to build on that over the next couple of weeks or 5 weeks with some other things. So if you're in my Kawartha Lakes area and you want to join my classes, I'm teaching in person. And I also have been teaching online 4 days a week for the past 5 years. And I'm also personal training online, or you can come see me in person. So this is big. If you're not doing it on your own, please start. Okay. Smart nutrition. We must prioritize protein. Again, I've done umpteen episodes on this. If you don't have my protein guide, comment and I will send it to you. It's free, but it is essential for it's like protein breaks down into amino acids, which is the building block of everything in our body. Okay. So it's essential for muscle repair. It's essential for everything, for your fingernails, for your hair, for everything. We're not getting enough protein. I've seen what people are eating, what women are eating. You're not eating enough protein. You're not eating enough whole food nutrition. Okay. So you really want to make sure you're going after those micronutrients, getting your calcium, vitamin D, go outside and get some sunshine, your magnesium to support your bone health. All right. So get your protein. And if you need help, I have been doing nutrition counseling for a very long time. Okay. We can sit down, review what you're eating. How can you tweak it? What's the best for you? So reach out to me if that is something that you would like to do. And then the last thing is consider hormone therapy. This is a totally personal decision and one to make with a knowledgeable healthcare provider, but hormone therapy has been shown to reduce fracture risk, preserve muscle, and protect your joints. And the earlier you start, ideally within 10 years, right, of menopause, postmenopause, the last day after a year of not having a cycle, the better your body responds. But they are saying, so there was something a while ago that said if you're over 60, you cannot do hormones. That is changing. So very interesting. But you do need to have your lifestyle dialed in as well. All right. So here's the bottom line, ladies. Estrogen is not just a reproductive hormone. Okay. It's a whole body hormone, especially for your musculoskeletal system. So if you've been wondering why your body feels stiff, weak, achy, injury prone, and all of a sudden, like over the last few years, now you know, okay? And now even more importantly, you are empowered to do something about it, okay? So don't just like it's yes, we are getting older, okay? But men are getting older, okay? We have this massive loss of hormones, and many of us are not moving. We're not moving properly. Okay. So you can do something about it. I'm going to empower you. Don't settle for discomfort. Advocate for yourself. Ask about your hormones. Strength train. Nourish your body. And most of all, trust in yourself that you can feel strong again. Okay. You deserve to move through midlife with power and not pain. You deserve vibrant energy. Okay. And not to be in pain. And even when I did have this pesky shoulder issue, I didn't stop working out. Okay, I just lifted lower weights on this side, kept the heavier weights on this side. And maybe sometimes I could do more reps on my left side. I had to take it easy on my right side, but I didn't stop. And so many times I hear women, they get an injury and they just stop. You have your whole body to work. Okay, so don't get waylaid from that. All right, so today's episode was all about muscular skeletal syndrome. That's a big fancy word for aches and pains, stiffness, joint pain, ligaments, frozen shoulder, hip pain. Okay, and if you know somebody who's been complaining about their joints, then by all means, please refer this send them this, share them this podcast episode with them so that they can begin to be like, oh my gosh, there's something I can do about it. And if you could leave me a review or drop me a message somewhere, someplace, and just say, hey, Tanya, I really love what you're doing. Thank you for educating me and empowering me to be vibrant and strong and energetic. Thank you. I am doing things. I am listening to you. Okay. I would love to hear your story. And remember, you are not alone. You are not alone. You are not broken. Okay. You're just in transition. You're just in transition wherever you are. I have 70-year-olds, okay, 60-year-olds. They're way past post-menopause, but they're still feeling some of this, and they're starting to take control of their life and moving their bodies and upping their nutrition and getting the support you need. So we're always in transition. Okay. And there is always support. All right, everybody. So thank you for tuning in this week and stay strong. And I'm here for you if you need me. And I will see you next time.